And I think gratitude helps this open heart, you know. So my heart is open now, and with this open heart, I'm going to know. It just happens naturally, doesn't it? That then when you love somebody and you notice that somebody is going through a difficult time, that their health is not good, you begin to feel the pain, because I believe we are empathic creatures. So we begin to empathize with the pain for the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's why gratitude in this spiral is a kernel of it, you know, is the seed of it, you know. From that, then we begin to feel and honor our pain for the world. So what's that word honor? I love this word honor, our pain for the world, is that we don't deny it, you know, we don't resist it, we don't create distance, or we don't escape from it, but that it also doesn't consume us. Because then if we are consumed, then, you know, there's nothing we can do. We are in that state. But if we open to it, if we honor it, and somehow we put it then back again into the web of life, from that place, perhaps we can begin to take action. And that action can take many different ways, you know. And it can look very different for everybody. But I read as well, and I think I shared that with you before, what Joanna Macy calls activism, and that she says anyone who does something not for personal gain is an activist. You know, so that it doesn't have to be that you need to go out there, you know, join an activist group and be, but you know, anything that you do that is not for personal gain is an act of love, and thereby an act of activism. Yeah.
And every small action adds up
Absolutely.
to something much bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Because absolutely everything we do, as well as everything we think, goes into that web of life, goes into that universal mind, everything. So no matter how small it is, and it's also very reassuring, to also realize that we are not alone in this, you know, that we can take a rest, that there is a lot of us, and all that we do is going into this web. Everything we do is going into this web, and we are not alone doing it. That there are a lot of us weaving, a lot of us, yes. Even many people who don't even realize they are weaving, you know, they are weaving, even if they are not aware. Sure. But a lot of us are doing it. I think many more of us are doing than not. But perhaps not everyone is aware that they are doing it, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
We're not on our own either.
We are not on our own.
The planet is there for us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not just us humans doing it, but we are in this bigger web of life. And the web of life is everything. It's Gaia, you know, it's who we are, is who absolutely everything on this earth is. So the open sentence for this part of the spiral, honoring our pain for the world, is when I consider the condition of the world, what aches or breaks my heart is. When I consider the condition of the world, what aches or breaks my heart is. And here you are honoring that pain, you are honoring the ache, you're honoring the emotion, and your breathing is almost like you're opening your heart to it. You're allowing yourself to breathe in that, so that you can be with it, that you can empathize with that. And as we've done before, it's almost like allowing that pain, that emotion, and that can help with any difficult emotions. That instead of turning our back away from that emotion, we actually welcome the emotion, and we allow ourselves to welcome it, to be with that, to give it space, but not to hold it. Not to hold it, because again, if we go back to that web of life, the web of life is there, is bigger than ourselves, and can hold it for us. But we are almost like, the way I say it, we are almost like vehicles of transformation. So that if we allow those difficult emotions, and I mean, and at the moment, I'm sure a lot of people are going through very difficult emotions. So do allow them in. Do allow them in and shed light onto them so that they don't go into the shadow. Because if they go into the shadow, they will grow bigger. They will get bigger, and then we won't be able to see where they are, and it's when they can start play tricks on us. But if we open up and we allow ourselves to have the conversation with those emotions, if we allow ourselves to breathe those emotions in and allow them into the heart, and really trust that the heart is that organ of alchemy and that transformation can happen, and then breathe it out, so you breathe that out and you trust that you don't need to hold it anymore, because you have given it space, the space that needed in you. And then when we start to honor our pain for the world, what's happening is that we start to see with new eyes, because we are letting ourselves feel it. We are letting ourselves, we're opening our eyes, basically. We're opening our eyes to the pain that is happening in the world, to the pain that's happening to the earth. We are becoming empathic, and then that's starting to create, I think, inside a driving force. And first of all, our eyes are open, because again, we cannot see what we cannot feel.
How do you mean that?
Yeah, and I'm actually reflecting on that as I said it, and I don't know where that came from. I think but I just need to say it. We cannot see what we cannot feel, because otherwise it's not an embodied experience, and it really stays in the mind. It stays in the thinking, and thoughts come and go. We can see the destruction that is happening in the Amazonia with the fires, in Australia with the fires, for instance. We can see it on the news. We can look at it. Perhaps for a little moment we can feel this is dreadful. But then if we really allow ourselves to be with that, to really be with that, to really be with what that means, and we begin to feel that in the body, then we begin to really see what has happened now with what has happened with COVID-19. When it was in China, it was in China. We were looking at it in the news, big virus in China. Yes, we saw it. It's okay. We didn't feel it. We only start to feel it when it reached our shores, when it became personal, when perhaps affected somebody that you knew. And then the whole world begins to react. Why has the whole world not reacted before that? with climate catastrophe looming over us, because most of us have not opened our heart, our body, to feeling that, because perhaps, you know, we are too busy with business as usual, because we see it in the news, but they're fleeting images. They come and go, and then our life takes over. Our life now cannot take over because we are at home. We have time to not only look at the news, but we have time to feel what's happening in the body. They have given us that, but they haven't given us that with climate catastrophe.
But like you said the other evening, this could be a dress rehearsal for climate change, for climate chaos.
Climate chaos, yeah, for a real breakdown.
And a massive opportunity to learn and to decide what we're going to do about that and to act on it.
Yeah, and perhaps to look at, you know, with these new, she says, new ancient eyes, because I really, you know, there's so much we need to go back to, that we have lost. And I mean, for me, a lot of what's happening now is really coming back to the village, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, it's coming back to you're not allowed to go, or you're recommended not to go any further than 2 kilometers distance from your house. Well, that's a village.
True.
But and if you had anything you needed within those 2 kilometer radio, then you wouldn't need to go anywhere else. You wouldn't need a car to go and drive to work. But our system does not support that now. A lot of people need to get into the car to go to work, because that's how everything is structured. You're living physically very far away from your office or from where you work, because that's what the system has created. And now we are realizing, you know, that a lot of that, it's not needed. But it's what we do here now that will define where we're going from here. And this is, I think that's where we are now within within the spiral. I just go towards the last section of the spiral is going forth, and then I'll go back to seeing with new eyes. It's going forth. I don't think we are there yet. But I think with what's happening now, we have an opportunity now to look with new eyes, to look with new ancient eyes. And what we do with that opportunity will define how we go on in the, will define whether we go into chaos or into regenerative change. As we were as well discussing at our session of the work that Reconnects, this system, remember we were talking, this system has the seeds of its own destruction built within it, so that we actually had not to do anything to bring down the system. By system I mean business as usual capitalism, aggressive capitalism, but there is something we can do, which is to create a new story.
Yeah,
to create a new story. And for me, I rather would put my energy into regeneration, into a new story, actually, not even regeneration, into a completely fresh new story. I'd rather put my energy into what is that we can do, even to model a different way of living. And the eco-village is definitely one of the ways to take that step. And it is a step that that doesn't feel so enormous or overwhelming, or you're modeling that it's possible to live the life that will make you thrive, not the life that will give you money for what? but the life that will make you thrive spiritually, emotionally, physically, everything. I'll just pose to you the last open question, which is from
Mm.
Seeing with New Eyes. And because it relates to, and maybe we can just wrap up with this, because it relates to purpose. So for everyone who may be watching this, in the situation that you are right now, where we are in exceptional circumstances that we have not been in before. If you give yourself even this question for a moment, in relation to creating a new story, in relation to creating that story that is regenerative, that is life-giving, that comes from this loving open heart and empathy, what, and the open sentence is, a purpose acting through me is. And this is interesting because it's not what's your purpose, it's a purpose acting through me. And I leave you with that open sentence. And so you can think about that. And once you have that, a purpose acting through me is, the following part and the final part of the spiral, which is going forth, would be, okay, through that purpose that's acting through me, my first step or my next step is going to be, so this is now moving us into action.
Yeah, in a really kind of calming, reassuring way, because there's so much going on in the world right now. It can seem insurmountable, and it can seem like you don't know where to start, or as one person, what can I do? But just narrowing it down to what is the purpose that's calling to you, and what is one practical action that you can do to bring about that is.
Keep it personal. Keep it about your life. If you were to imagine the life you want to live, the life that will bring that love, that whatever it is that brings this this happiness, of this driving force. What would that life look like? Not the life that tells, not everything else that everyone is telling us how to live, how to do. No. Let's take a moment to just really close our eyes and imagine, what life do I want for myself for the next 30, 20 years? How would I like to live my life? How would I like, at what time would I like to get up in the morning? What would I like to eat? Would I like to have time for myself? Would I like to have time to sing and dance? And even imagine a day, a 24-hour day of the life you would like to live. This is incredibly uplifting, and we have the time now at home to do that. Why not? And I'm aware of all the pain as well. And there is a place for that too. There is a place for that too. We can hold both at the same time. We can hold the pain, and we can hold the prospect of a new story. So I'm going to leave you, with that, holding both, holding both, because I think that's where we are now. We are here. We are here.
I want to share, just before you go, I want to share what came to my mind when we were talking about gratitude. And it was, what gives me life at the moment is the people who are making space for this kind of thought, and who are inspiring me and giving me hope. And at the moment, you're definitely one of those people. So thank you for that. And I hope that anyone who's watching this might comment what came to mind when they did this exercise, and what their vision for a new world might be, or for their new life might be. Thank you so much.
Thank you.